Wait, is that a ship sitting on top of 3 skyscrapers? Yes, it actually is. Now you might be thinking, what is actually holding that water up? Good question. Left, empty seafloor in 2003. Right, this. Same place. Here's what happened between them. Here's the crazy part. That tower is leaning on purpose. And the reason will blow your mind. $8 billion. More than 5 Burj Khalifas, 1 building. And it was finished on time. Watch this. Flat land in 2006. That building by 2010. Stay with me. Here is how they did it.
I am standing on reclaimed seafloor right now. And nothing you can see here matters yet.
But here is the problem nobody mentioned. Under this site, 25 meters of soft marine clay. Moshe Safdie drew this in one afternoon. You won't believe how long it took to build it. 1,770 pile positions, each within 5 millimeters. 3 months just to mark the ground. One pile, 1.8 meters wide, 40 meters deep, 36 hours to build. There are 1,770 of them. They loaded 9,000 tons onto one pile to test it. Then they checked every result anyway. 300 pumps running non-stop just to keep the hole dry. You'll see why this mattered later.
I can see 40 meters straight down from here. That pile is what this whole building stands on.
42 hours, no stopping. If the concrete stops, the whole foundation is compromised. No brakes. This formwork never stops moving. It rises 300 millimeters every hour, for 18 months straight. Wait until you hear this. The tower is leaning more with every single floor they pour. 1,155 floors to pour. 3 towers at the same time. 7 days per floor. Let that sink in. All 3 towers must hit the same height within 15 millimeters, across 55 independent floors each. Every single column on that face is a different angle. Not one standard detail exists here.
I can feel this floor leaning under my feet right now. That is not an accident. That is the plan.
This concrete is nearly 3 times stronger than a normal building, and every batch is tested. The wind between the towers accelerates 23%. They only found this in a model, before concrete. 3 towers leaning in different directions. Now here's what happens when they need to meet. Some people will ask, how complex can rebar be? 900 bars at one point, 6 weeks of planning, 1 node. A wall 6 meters thick inside a skyscraper. That is what holds the sky park above it. Stay with me. They put 47 temperature sensors inside the concrete, and then they watched it for 72 hours straight. 4 cranes at 180 meters high. Here's the part nobody thinks about, getting them back down. The towers move independently in wind. These bearings allow 300 millimeters of relative movement. Watch why. Tower 1 moved 4 millimeters more than predicted at level 45. Here is why that actually matters enormously. 2,400 panels. Not one on Tower 1's leaning face is the same shape as another. Not one. 3 operations stacked on top of each other on each tower. 3,000 workers just on the shells. The building sank 32 millimeters as it was built. That was predicted. They designed for exactly that. Tower 1 is 3 millimeters high. Tower 3 is 6 millimeters low. Total spread, 9 millimeters. And the tolerance is 15 millimeters. Just.
I am looking at the gap where the sky park goes. Right now, there is absolutely nothing there.
While the towers were going up, they were also building 20 football pitches of floor below them. Steel tendons stretched inside the concrete stop it cracking under 500 people's weight. Watch this. 10 concrete petals, every piece of formwork built once, used once, thrown away. No repeats. 1,667 sprinkler heads in one room. every one pressure tested individually. Here is why that matters. Casino vault walls as thick as a nuclear power plant. That is not marketing. That is the specification. 800 millimeters of ceiling space. That is it. Everything for the casino ceiling has to fit inside that gap. 480 concrete panels, each 25 meters deep, forming one continuous wall around the basement. One bathtub. A 2,000-seat floating theater inside a casino hotel. It sits on 240 springs, so you hear nothing. Every panel of that curved facade is a custom shape, all placed by laser. Not one was replaced. 40% of this building's concrete was poured in the dark. Singapore's heat forced them to. 0.5 millimeters tolerance over 200 meters. 2 weeks of laser work per shaft. There are 15 shafts per tower. 2,561 bathrooms pre-built in a factory, each one craned in whole, then the facade closes behind it. This is where it gets interesting. The load path from that infinity pool starts right here at level 42. The concrete seals its own cracks. That is not a marketing line, that is how the chemistry works. 2,400 tons of temporary steel holding the walls apart, removed floor by floor as concrete replaced it. 16 workers placing 72 tons of steel per lift, working by feel in the dark inside the core wall. But there was one massive problem.
Pumps down! Get the backup!
The pump broke at 2 a.m. 52 minutes to get a replacement. 40 workers doing nothing but keeping the concrete wet for 4 years. That is why it is strong. 80 millimeter thick steel plates, 16 weld passes each. Every weld ultrasonically tested.
This wall is moving upward right now, while I am touching it. It has not stopped in 18 months.
240 mullions on the curved facade, each set by theodolite. Not one angle is the same as another. 4 cranes, 180 meters up, booms overlapping. 1 coordinator, 4 radios, 0 collisions. 600 millimeters thick at the very top. 3 times normal reinforcement. 28 days waiting before MBS arrives. This single miscalculation almost ruined everything. 15 millimeters off at level 38. Here is how they fixed it. 4 months to strip the scaffold. Watch what appears underneath it, floor by floor. Casino, 25 floors below the hotel room. A rubber layer is all that separates them, and it works. This waterproofing cannot be repaired once the garden goes on top, so they tested every centimeter. 3,200 cubic meters of concrete per week. Every single batch logged, every ingredient controlled. Some floor slabs in this building have forces trying to lift them upward. 84 steel rods hold them down. They built the formwork deliberately 12 millimeters too high, so the concrete lands flat when it deflects. Genius. 10,000 workers. 4 years. A safety record better than the Singapore industry average. Every life counted. 3,400 clashes found in the computer before they became problems on site. $120 million saved. 2,500 parking spaces in 4 basement levels. No beams. Post-tensioned slabs. Maximum headroom. He drew it on tracing paper in 2004. In 2009, he is standing on a leaning skyscraper waiting for the deck. A 340-meter deck built in another country and shipped across the sea, section by section. Watch this. 90-ton steel sections lifted from a barge straight to 200 meters up. 24 hours a day. 4 months. 6 hours to bolt 2 skyscrapers together 200 meters in the air. That was just the first section. Every new section deflects the ones already up. They predicted every millimeter in advance. 9,000 tons hanging in open air 67 meters from any support. Nobody thought this was actually possible.
A 90-ton section is swinging 200 meters above the bay right behind me.
1,400 bolts at Tower 1 alone. Everyone tensioned to specification. Everyone marker painted after. Concrete pumped 220 meters straight up. That is at the absolute limit of what a pump can do. The overflow weir is level to within 3 millimeters across 150 meters. Or the waterfall is visibly uneven. The pool was filled. The deck dropped 17.4 millimeters. The prediction was 18. The waterfall was perfect. 250 trees at 200 meters altitude, each one chosen partly because of how deep its roots grow. 6 layers of waterproofing that can flex 50 millimeters in any direction because the deck moves in the wind. 120 millimeters of movement at the cantilever tip in a monsoon gust, designed for it. You feel nothing.
67 meters of nothing below me, except the structure I am standing on. And it is breathing.
The only thing between you and 200 meters of open air is a 19-millimeter glass panel. No posts, just glass. 6 months of work to build what you are looking at. Now watch what happens when they fill the pool. 145 kilowatts running non-stop just to keep that waterfall flowing. Every second it is open. On purpose. Full penetration welds at 200 meters. Preheated to 150 degrees. Welded at night. 225 microns of coating. The SkyPark steel won't need repainting until 2034. That was the plan. 150 meters of stainless steel set to 0.5 millimeters per section, poured into the concrete permanently. A gap at every tower joint. 150 millimeters of allowed movement. The cover plate slides every time the wind blows. Open jointed stone tiles over a drainage void. Slip-tested wet at 200 meters, every single tile. Last bolt torqued, 8 millimeters from the design coordinate. 5 years of work. The SkyPark is done. From the waterfront 200 meters below, you can see the pool glowing above you, just barely. 840 anchor points cast into the deck before the concrete was poured. Every maintenance worker clips in. One pipe, 800 millimeters wide. Singapore's city cooling system flows through it into this building. 120 megawatts installed. 600 kilometers of cable. Enough to power 80,000 homes. One building. 12 complete hotel rooms finished every single day for 7 months. Not one room faces inward. 2,500 slot machines, each on its own fiber optic line, each individually calibrated. Real canals inside a shopping mall below a casino tower. The gondolas are also real, all of it. 40,000 LEDs on the exterior, all individually addressed. 6 months of night work to install them. 11 days just to fill the SkyPark pool and get the water clear enough for the NEA to approve it. 80,000 smoke detectors, 47 real fires in year 1. Not one guest was injured. Not one. No off-the-shelf system could clean Tower 1. They designed one specifically for the lean, from scratch. 22-ton vault door, pins cooled in liquid nitrogen to fit. Tested 200 times before opening day. 500 test cycles per lift before certification. The SkyPark Express lift ground to 55th floor in 36 seconds. 68,000 defects to fix before opening. 700 fixed every day. 10,000 still open on opening morning. Every air handling unit craned in before the facade closes. If it fails later, the facade opens again. 5 pressure zones per tower. 15 pump sets total. Running every second since April 27, 2010. 8 tons of rubbish per day sucked through 3.2 kilometers of pipe at 70 kilometers per hour. Invisible. 480 cameras on the casino floor. Every gaming table covered from 2 angles, planned in a computer. 36 kitchens, everyone designed so it can be fully cleaned without closing the restaurant above it. Opening day, 6 million Singapore dollars in the first 24 hours. The $8 billion building works. First person in the pool at 7:03 a.m. The waterfall was perfectly even across all 150 meters. 2.7 billion Singapore dollars in year 1. 15% above projection. The engineers were right. 1 billion photographs by 2019. It was designed to make money. It became a country's symbol. A 4th tower is coming. $4.5 billion. The building that changed Singapore changes it again. 40 universities teach this building. It was built as a casino hotel. It became a textbook. Every night since 2010. One exception, COVID. The show that was built in as permanent infrastructure. 1,770 piles, 3 towers, 1 sky park, $8 billion. Now you know what all of that actually means. Built on reclaimed sea floor, on soft marine clay, on 1,770 piles. 200 meters up. It worked.
Behind me is proof that the impossible is just an engineering problem waiting to be solved. To see which megastructure we decode next, hit subscribe. We're just getting started.